You see, conversations should always be had in context, Moro. Conversations should always be had in context. First of all, President Mahama talked about the pretentious ban that Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP announced when they were in power, ban on Galamsey. I call it pretentious because if you listen to President Mahama, he addresses the concerns of small-scale miners then, during the ban. And we all followed the news at the time, where there was supposed to be a ban, but certain people affiliated to the NPP got protection to continue to mine. Certain people had their excavators seized, and those excavators were later found with people affiliated with the NPP. These are facts that were reported in the news, and we all followed it.
Right.
And so, if you announce a ban, which people respected, only to realize that it was only a facade to allow some people to engage in the act underground, you are obviously going to get the backlash that, the NPP got. And then they blame their 2020 performance on the fight against Galamsey. Moro, it wasn't the fight. It was the pretense. It was the pretense. If they were indeed fighting it, people were ready to cooperate with them. That is why people respected the ban that was announced. But when people saw through the facade that the intention was not to actually ban, but to make it possible for their members to create money for the party. Remember Party Hiasika tape? They were going to get offended. So it wasn't the fight. Even if we say that it was the fight, after the 2020 elections, Moro, they stopped the fight. We all know that they said, oh, the thing made them to lose seats, in what do you call it, Galamsey operating areas, and so the president should stop the fight. My friend Afri and others were, defending Galamsey and all that. After 2020, then we went to 2024. Then Portal, it was worse. So how do you say that your 2020 performance was affected by a so-called fight against Galamsey? What about the 2024? Because you stopped the fight and you still did worse. So please, they should sit down well and find the reasons why they lost. And those reasons are not far-fetched. And it is in that context that President Mahama was speaking about the need to be fair. The need to be fair. Then again, at the press conference, he said something. He said, look, he never deluded himself during the campaign period that the fight against Galamsey was going to be an event. It wasn't going to be an event like the press or the media encounter. I mean, isn't it over? Right. The media encounter is an event. So you have a start time and you have a finish time.
Right.
And so that's an event. But a fight against a canker of the nature of Galamsey cannot have, cannot be treated like an event. It's a process. It's a process. And then he began to talk about the processes that have been put in place. And also concedes that those processes that are in place in 8 months cannot give us the results that we all want at the end of the process. He conceded. Process number 1, which as usual they are trying to spin, was that he said we set up the gold board. And the gold board has ensured that the doors to illegal, proceeds of Galamsey is shut from escaping the economy of Ghana. Because you see, Moro, first of all, let us be honest with ourselves. People cannot destroy our water bodies, destroy our forests, and leave us with the destruction and walk away with the proceeds. if they are leaving us with the distraction and we have a way of getting the proceeds, it's rational. So he says the first process is shut the doors so that the distraction and the proceeds stay here. Are you getting it? So he says this is the first process. The second process, among many other processes, he says, is that we are training Blue Water Guards people. The number we have currently cannot make an impact, but they have started. The third process is that we are engaging big mining firms to lease out lands that they have, which do not make economic sense for them to mine, but is significant to the small-scale miner, so that we engage in cooperative mining by training these small-scale miners to apply themselves on those lands, and indicated that that was what our comrades, our colleagues, were going to launch when they had that unfortunate plane crash. So processes. Process number 1, gold board. Process number 2, lifeguards. Process number 3, cooperative mining. So he's taking us through the processes, but he also concedes that it is too early to expect any significant impact on these processes that are in place. Process number 4, LI 246 is going to be repealed. I mean, so these are the steps that are being taken. He talked about the need to streamline the operations of the IGP, Galamsey Task Force with the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force that we already have. Because you see why? When you don't do that, people who are supposed to engage in this fight can themselves become a problem. Because we have had instances where video recordings show that security men are extorting monies from either licensed people, licensed small-scale miners, or themselves giving protection to illegal miners just to cash in. But when you have a structure where you can hold people responsible, it is better for all of us. So the president is not shirking his responsibility. He's not running away from the fight against Galamsey. In fact, another process that I forgot to mention, the importation of excavators and the need to track every excavator to the owner, so that when you clear the excavator from the port, it is tracked to you. And if that excavator finds itself in any illegal mining site, you will bear the consequences. And that has delayed even the clearing of excavators at the port. And so these are the processes. The president says it's not an event. It's a process. And I do not see anything wrong with the first process of shutting the doors so that we can have the devastation and the so-called benefits of the devastation. I call it so-called because, I mean, if you do in relative terms, it is not really a benefit. But it is in financial terms. So I'm saying that shut the door, right, keep it all here. And what he's saying is that you just don't keep it all here. That as you have shut the door and you are now taking all the gold that comes to you, you have the ability to track, where the gold is coming from. And that tracking will help you identify even illegal mining sites. And where possible, shut them down. Or take them to, if they are people with requisite skills, maybe take them through a process of licensing them, and maybe taking them to the cooperative mining where you can get land for them to actually mine. So it is a thoughtful process. It's not a firefighting approach that the president is using is a thoughtful process that is aimed at getting results and making an impact. It is not, it's not for the. No. Oh, come on. I mean, I'm taking my time so that at least people out there with an open mind will follow. Because you see, I know it won't tickle you because your mind is made up and the rationality and the facts will confuse you. So I'm not speaking to you. I'm taking my time so that people who may be interested in knowing what the approach is, the approach of this government is.
To you that only you have this understanding,
and
that the Ghana coalition against Galamsey did not have the same understanding of a thoughtful process that Mr. Mahama laid out during his press engagement. Because they've issued a statement expressing their disappointment with the government's response to illegal mining. And they've said that they want to hold a comprehensive press statement on the 15th. The statement is here. So I'm wondering how, if it was that thoughtful, process that you are outlining here, Mr. Mahama, the president, outlined it in a thoughtful manner during this press engagement. Only you understood it, and all of us, including these people who are not politically affiliated, who started this fight during the Akufo-Addo administration and are still fighting, did not get the same thoughtful understanding. That's my question.
Moro.
Yes.
Moro. No, let me respond to him.
Because I have the statement.
Yes. Please, exactly. Let's read the statement and then we'll know exactly what they have a problem with.
So that's why I was calling him.
Thank you.
So the statement was issued Thursday, September 11th, 2025. The day after the press engagement, yes. The president did not inspire hope in dealing with Galamsey. That's what he says.
Can we please listen? They have their reasons, and I don't begrudge them. But I'm saying that this is a thoughtful process.
Let me just read it. So Accra, Thursday, September 11, 2025. The president's statement yesterday, 10th September 2025, speaking at the presidential media encounter at Jubilee House at 8 p.m. on Galamsey, did not convey the urgency required in the fight to rid this country of unprecedented environmental terrorism. Now, the posture has downplayed the severity of the crisis, which has led to the pollution of over 60% of water bodies with heavy metals, the displacement of farmers, both cash and food crops, and the devastation of our forest reserves. His withdrawal of police forces and accusation that they cannot distinguish legal from illegal miners is misplaced. The IGP's men, though not perfect, were fearless and had brought the situation under control. We challenge the president to name a single licensed small-scale mining entity that is mining responsibly on the ground. We welcome NIMOS, but have we resourced them sufficiently to deal decisively as needed? His statement that alternatives must be provided before chasing miners is compared to justifying and emboldening illegality. This is not the leadership expected for a country facing environmental suicide, contaminated cocoa exports and rising health crisis now, and for our newborns. Last paragraph. Finally, we disagree entirely with the president on the position of government regarding calls for a targeted state of emergency, as the circumstances that prevailed when he joined civil society to demand a state of emergency before his election as president have not improved. In fact, some of the indices have worsened. The MD of Ghana Water Company Limited reported the turbidity of the water at the Kwanyako Water Treatment Plant to have hit 32,000 NTU, and on the day the president was speaking, the Central Regional Minister had endorsed the closure of the plant. This government handling of the Galamsey crisis is disappointing to us. It's a disappointment to us. This government is failing us. Join our comprehensive media briefing on Monday, 15 September 2025 at the International Press Center. All are invited. Now, these are the people who have signed it and signed a statement. Kenneth Ashibe is the convener. GCAG, his number is there. Professor M.A. Akudugu is also a member. Senyo Husi, also a member. And Daryl Bosu is also a member.
So you see, you just shared with us the press statement that was issued by the coalition.
Right.
And like I said, I completely understand the coalition.
Sorry, I've just been told we have 6 minutes to end the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you see, when you read through their statement, what I see is that they have a problem with the president's style. It's the style.
Right.
So they talk about it not inspiring hope. They talked about urgency. They talked about the IGP's men. Then they talked about state of an emergency. Style. It's style. But you see, Moro, this exercise that the president is engaged in, like I said earlier, it's a thoughtful one. We have had a different style before. Oh, I put my presidency on the line. And we all said, yay! What did we get at the end? Style. It inspired hope. It did. But what was the result of that hope that it inspired? Nothing.
Okay.
We had, I'm banning it for 2 years. It inspired hope.
All right.
No, it did. But what results did we get? Nothing. Worse. So the president's style, I can understand why the coalition will be uncomfortable with it. But I believe that if we allow and support the processes that are in place, we will get better results than we got when we played to the gallery with the declarations of the intention to put our presidency on the line and the ban for 2 years. We didn't get much. I'm saying that the processes that are in place, licenses, for example, have not been issued since he got into office. He said that. He talked about tracking all excavators that come into the country and registering them properly.
Okay.
He's talked about the gold board and how it will be used to track, gold, every gold that comes from any mining site, which will help us identify these people who are doing it illegally. He's talked about, the many other processes that are in place, the lifeguards, the cooperative mining.
Okay.
And let us give him the support and the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. All right.
Yes, the big declarations may not be coming to inspire hope. And let me end on that. State of emergency. Please. The president, if you listen to him very well, has not taken it off the table.
Right.
He didn't say, I will never impose a state of emergency. But all he said was that we are still implementing certain measures. These are the measures. And they are not exhaustive. That is to say that when he exhausts all the measures in place and he's not getting the desired results, he may still consider that.
All right.
So please, it is about style. It's about interpretations and the way we want to see things being done.